Today I will be reading out of the Vineyard of Liberty, and this book has to do with the changing American politics throughout United States history. The checking and balancing of John Quincy Adams. Before I begin, can I get a hand on who was John Quincy Adams? Correct. He was the President of the United States, an early one at that. Thank you. It had been clear for months, even years, that 1824 would bring no ordinary election. Monroe's campaign effort in the previous presidential election had been such a tepid enterprise. Fewer than 1% of whites in his own state of Virginia bothered to go to the polls. Fewer than 1% of his state bothered to go to the polls. Let's think about that for a second, students. If you were 1%, you decided the president, your vote for your state for the presidency. Now that is crazy. The one elector who had voted against Monroe in 1820, William Plummer of New Hampshire, had cast his ballot for John Quincy Adams as a way of publicizing Adams' availability for 4 years. Monroe's administration was hardly underway when Adams and the congressional politicians were busy electioneering. Eagerly, the press looked forward to the Battle of the Titans. Treasury Secretary William H. Crawford, widely considered the heir to the Virginia dynasty, even though he was a Georgian, seemed an early frontrunner. But for just that reason, he attracted opposition from his rivals. Secretary of State Adams had reason to feel that he had rights of succession by virtue of holding the office that Madison and Monroe had used as a springboard to the White House. A warm preying upon the vitals of the administration within its own body was Adams' reasoned view of Crawford's role in the Monroe cabinet. Does anyone know key parts of Donald Trump's cabinet today? And can someone name a cabinet member? Okay, thank you. Henry Clay had quit the House of Representatives in order to concentrate on his lucrative law practice. He returned to the House in 1823, immediately won re-election as Speaker. Can anyone tell me who the current Speaker of House is today? Correct, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. And led his friends organize support for him in the states. As impressive as ever for his quick intelligence, compelling personality, and baffling combination of political daring and compromise, Clay calculated that he could win enough electoral votes to place among the top 3 candidates and win election in Congress. John Calhoun was demonstrating, as Monroe's Secretary of War, that his skills matched his preliminary talents. Can I have someone read the next sentence, please? Okay, thank you. I will pick up from there. And Senator Andrew Jackson, an outsider, temporarily inside, reckoned that his reputation as router of redcoats and redskins guaranteed him a personal popularity that could be converted into an electoral college majority. Now today we would not be able to use rhetoric that they were able to openly use in 1823. Can I get an example of the negative rhetoric we see here? Right, redskins. That is something that is politically incorrect and, quite frankly, racist. But those back in the 1820s could get away with it, unlike politicians or people could today. I will continue. None of these 4 men liked Adams, and the feeling was more than mutual. Kind of reminds you of how people don't like the president now. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump, and a lot of people against him. As we see here, Adams feared his opponents too, to the point where he urged Monroe to give them diplomatic appointments that would take them out of the country. Clay to Colombia or Chile, Jackson to Mexico, and DeWitt Clinton, another possible rival to wherever. All declined. Soon the election race became surly free-for-all, a far-flung game of King of the Rock, and a strident of ironic patriotically during the era of good feelings. Now, can someone sum up what we just learned there? Can someone tell me how John Quincy Adams was perceived? Thank you. Can someone name the House of Representatives of John Quincy Adams, the Speaker of the House for him? Okay, thank you. Now can someone tell me the Speaker of the House today? Thank you. And that is all for today's reading of the Vineyard of Liberty. And I would be using this in my social studies classroom to talk about changing political theories in United States history.